Welcome back, class 10, your history class. Continuing with the causes for the rise of fascism and Nazism. Today we'll discuss inefficient and corrupt democratic governments. The post-war democratic governments were weak. They could not respond properly to the needs and aspirations of the people. So after the First World War, the democratic governments were weak. They were unable to fulfill the needs of the people. The governments under Nitti and Giolitti in Italy were unable to control the industrial and agrarian disorders. Disorders were not being able to be controlled. They were not being able to control. In Germany, the Constituent Assembly, which met at Weimar in 1919, established a liberal democratic government, but from the very beginning, Germany was faced with a big problem of unstable governments. So between 1919 and 1933, there were as many as 21 prime ministers headed by 12 chancellors, 21 ministers headed by 12 chancellors. So the people therefore were looking for a more strong and stable government. So in Germany, there was no stable government. So this was a very big cause for Nazism to rise, because Nazism gave assurance to the people. They were strong, they were focused, and more importantly, they were led by a very strong leader, which the Germans were looking forward, because they were extremely ill-treated under the Treaty of Versailles. So she was extremely untreated. So they were looking for revenge, and with that unstable government in the scenario, Hitler came as a savior. Now, number 4 is basically rise of totalitarian ideologies. The philosophy of Hegel, a German philosopher, had flourished in Italy for years before fascism was thought of. So philosophy of Hegel, a German philosopher, had flourished in Italy years before fascism was thought of. His philosophy was a very intellectual philosophy. It had a very intellectual depth, but his pupils used Hegelian arguments to justify the authority. Authoritarian regime was questioned by Hegelian arguments. In fact, irrational and anti-intellectual thoughts of Alfred Rocco, an Italian nationalist, had got the upper hand now. It appealed to the masses because it glorified power or even sheer force. So you will see that under fascism and Nazism, one-man army, one-man government, government with army, these things were encouraged. In Russia, after the revolution of 1917, the government had been using terror to enforce obedience. Political power of Russia was now monopolized by one political party. Dictatorial ideas or principles appealed to the masses in Italy and Germany also. Now, fifth point is, before coming to the fifth point, so after seeing Russia, dictatorial ideas and principles appealed the masses of Italy and Germany, because they wanted a single powerful leader who is a man enough to rule them, to control them, whether by sweet words or by force, technically by force. And even if the army controls the whole country, they did not mind. They wanted that, because they wanted a stable government who will look after them. Number 5 is class conflicts, that is industrialists' support. Many writers are of opinion that fascists and Nazi parties were being supported mainly by industrialists, big businessmen and landlords. Why? Even in today, big parties, they have the support of the big industrial houses. Why? Because if The big industrial houses, the big businessmen supported the ruling party or the party in power. It is assured that those big industrialists and big businessmen will not be disturbed or not be touched by the ruling party. But let us go back to the history. The economy was in crisis and the workers were agitating for higher wages and better conditions of work. So, economy was in crisis and the after the war and after the First World War, and the workers wanted better pay scale. They wanted better working facilities, better workplace, things like that. So Italy seemed to be heading towards a communist revolution. Industrialists viewed it with very growing suspicion and said that if the strength of the labor unions grew, it will be troublesome for the businessmen. So, it is said that the financial support for fascism came largely from the moneyed class who wished to suppress the workers. So, the moneyed class wanted to suppress the workers by helping the fascist movement. Sixth is charismatic leader, very smart leader who can influence the people. So Mussolini and Hitler were able to attract, influence, and inspire people by their personal qualities. In Italy, Mussolini was called Deus, which means the leader. The Germans adored Hitler, they loved Hitler as their savior. They adopted the designation of Führer, means the leader. So these are the basic causes for the rise of fascism and Nazism. First is dissatisfaction with the peace treaties. Second, economic factors. Third, inefficient and corrupt democratic governments. Number four, rise of totalitarian ideologies. Then class conflicts, that is industrialists' supports, and charismatic leadership. Mussolini formed the government in October 1922. It was under these circumstances that Mussolini rose to become the leader of the new movement. Benito Mussolini, a former socialist and a journalist by profession, stopped calling himself socialist now. In March 1919, he formed the Fascist Party, which attracted people from all sections of the society, ex-soldiers, salaried persons, farmers, workers, and youths. They wore a black uniform and therefore came to be known as black shirts. They adopted fasces as a symbol. Violence was the creed of these volunteers. Violence was the main thing. The black shirts took over factories, municipalities, and police stations wherever they could. On 28th October 1922, the fascist bands marched to Rome. The very next day, King invited Mussolini to form the government, which he did on 30th October. Within a short time, Mussolini became the absolute master of Italy. Victor Emmanuel was still the king, but Mussolini was the real ruler of Italy. So this is how Mussolini rose to power. Mussolini's democratic and foreign policies. Fascism meant crushing individual liberty, individual independence, and suppression of human personality, violence at home, and aggression abroad. Mussolini tried to put Italy into a strong economic footing by his theory of corporate state, and where Mussolini was the head of the Ministry of Corporations. Mussolini preached that if a nation has a will and a personality of its own, she can do anything. So the growth of empire is an expression of nation's vitality. In order to justify his policy of imperialism, Mussolini said that we are 40 millions squeezed into a narrow and adorable peninsula. Italy must expand or she will perish. So, in fact, the war was used by Mussolini to divert people's attentions from internal problem and economic insecurity. That is why how fascism grew in Italy and Mussolini came to power. So, in a nutshell, we have learnt about Mussolini's rise to power. In the next class, we will deal with Mr. Adolf Hitler. Thank you very much.